remember watching your earliest stuff, and like right away you came on our podcast pretty. I don't know, like what, like 3 or 4 weeks into you doing your thing,
I think so, yeah. No,
and
and I watched you
then
guys before I started creating. You guys were
mhm,
making videos of Fab, and you got into it like around like July, I think, right?
mhm. I want to say our first video went up like mid-July, something like that. I don't quote me on that at all. I don't remember, but it was pretty soon after we started. We're like, yeah, we're in at pretty much the beginning of this game stateside,
Mm,
and we, as a group, as a team, we'd been playing. That was Fab was like our third game we'd really all been together for that we'd shifted to,
mhm.
and getting in at the beginning, realizing that it was going to be like the solid game that it was, we were like, yeah, like let's just do this. We're gonna get into it, and we're gonna actually start putting out content because we actually had plans, like pretty much the scaffolding set up after our
Well, Star Wars
like
Destiny is
during
where you started,
Star
right?
Wars Destiny was where we like really began. Yeah, that's where a lot of us met each other, and then that game died before we really got a chance to take off, and we were just like, we still had like that itch we wanted to get into, but yeah, no, it was a long time coming, but luckily enough, Fab came out and it was like the perfect outlet, and we were all super into it and rolled with it. So it worked
Yeah.
out well. But yeah, so you came on our podcast pretty soon after you had started. And then right away, Jason got on drinking with Bronson. And ever since then, and I've been like, okay, man, is it my turn yet? Can I come on?
I know, and I've been like, man, like I have reached out to so many different people that, hey, you want to do this? Sometimes the schedules don't
Mhm.
work out some weeks. Because I don't know about you guys, it seems like you're pretty regular where every Tuesday night you guys are playing games. And I'm just
Yep.
like not that way. Like my schedule's so intermittent to where it's like I'll have a totally dry week and then one day, like tonight, I'll be like, I'll have so much time. And then I bust out like 8 videos and then schedule them out. But you guys
Yeah,
seem pretty
that
regular with
works.
it.
Hmm. No, that's definitely one way to do it. But I think, especially being like adults with families, like it's kind of hard to. You would think that that would work, but with three of us, well, five of us total in the group that do like DBS and Fab, three of us that really focus on Fab, it's hard to like find the time where it's like it's usually not like a random Wednesday that we all happen to have free. So it's a
Yeah.
little easier for us to be like Tuesday nights, no matter what, 9:30 we're streaming. It's a perfect excuse. Everyone's families on every end is as I've like bought into that.
Mm.
So it's a little bit easier for us. Tuesday nights live stream, Thursday nights recording,
And you
and
guys are
then
committed. Like I think it was a couple
yeah,
weeks ago. Jason was at a hotel on like vacation or something, and
yeah,
he was coming into the games playing the ultimate pit fight with Rob and you guys, and
yeah,
yeah, that's commitment.
yeah. I know he's definitely he's had some internet problems too. Me and him both have. There's been some storms coming around like the last week or so that have been messing with us, and we've all been like doing whatever we can to make sure we don't miss like a live stream. We really want to hit like that 1 year mark, having live streamed every single week. Like that's like
Oh
one of
yeah.
our like internal goals right now. We think that'd be super cool. But yeah, he was at a hotel in Texas on his laptop connected to the Wi-Fi, just like playing TTS, and like he couldn't see his cards, so like, he was having Blake like tell him what like cards he had if they were in his hand or not, having
Mhm.
us like move stuff around because his connection was so bad.
He was
But it
playing
was
Shiana, I think, right?
yeah, he
Yeah.
was. Dude, that was a fun UPF match. That's probably the best UPF match that we've played since then, just because we like the house rules were in effect, so we were all like coaxing a commotion. Like there's a turn where Rob came at me with like 8 cards in hand as a warrior player.
Oh
I was like,
wow.
"Oh god,
And you
this
all
is
have
this is what
Gorganian
this is
Tomb,
about."
right?
Yeah.
Gorganian
So
Tome.
we
Yeah.
all house rule is that every deck needs to have a playset of coaxes and a Gorganian tome. So everyone's just like we're just slinging cards constantly. It's pretty good.
That's
We got to
awesome.
have you back on. We got to have you back on
Oh
for
yeah,
another
man.
UPF with the house rules in effect because it's pretty wild.
That sounds like a lot of fun. Yeah, before I was just playing like the basic Bravo starter deck because that was actually my first game that I've ever played on TTS. I don't know if you guys knew that at the time. Like
Hmm.
that was me. Yeah, well, I guess it kind of showed with me like asking questions every like 3 minutes, but overall it wasn't too bad to pick up. It's just at first I was like, oh, what do I do? And
No.
I didn't know about the FabDB link thing. That oh
Oh
man,
yeah,
it
yeah.
just makes it so streamlined. But yeah,
It's pretty easy.
how did Star Wars Destiny die? Like in your world?
Ooh.
Like, what do you think? Because before Fab, it was Star Wars Destiny, and I've heard a lot of people say good things about Star Wars Destiny and Netrunner,
Mhm.
but what do you think killed it?
That's I mean, that's the company, 100%. Like, FFG, Fantasy Flight Games, they're actually headquartered here in Roseville, in Minnesota. So it was really cool because at the time, we were kind of like the New Zealand of Star Wars Destiny, right? Like, we had like, no joke, no exaggeration, we had locals happening 6 nights a week with 12 to 20 people showing up at each local. We were running, I mean, regular tournaments, worlds took place here. So, like, the last year that worlds actually happened before, like, this, there was supposed to be another one, but it got pushed back, typical FFG.
Mhm.
They they had the convention center downtown totally, we had like, it was reserved, we had like 550 to I think it was 600 players from
Wow.
like around the world. Like, Europeans were there like the week leading up to it because it was like a 4-day event. The week leading up to it, we had people from Sweden, Italy, Belgium,
All
uh,
coming to
France,
Minnesota.
coming
That's
to Minnesota of all places
it's
in the
awesome.
wintertime of all times. Yeah, it was pretty wild, but they came out to locals, so, like, we're jamming with them, like, Monday night before Worlds. They just like, "We're staying in a hotel. Where's their games to play?" And we're like, "Literally pick anywhere, and you can go find a local."
Hmm.
Um, and FFG just shot themselves in the foot with that, which sucks because it was really fun. It was a really good community. I didn't love the dice aspect of the game just because it's
That's
extra
tough.
RNG, so I'm a little bit opposed to that, but the game itself was fun. It was Star Wars. We all love Star Wars, so that's kinda where we all created our initial bonds. But, yeah, if you want me to get into it a little bit, I have a burning hatred for FFG.
Oh, really?
They I think it's actually pretty.
What do you mean they ran it into the ground though? Because it's just interesting to me that, it seems
Mhm,
like it was a successful game for the most part. And I agree with dice rolling. Like I want to play Kaio, but I'm so worried that I'm gonna roll the dice and it's gonna like roll twice and someone's be like, "Did you really roll that dice?" So I like, do I
mhm.
use the phone or
Yeah.
but how did they just didn't really support the community or
No, it's so FFG is in stark contrast to LSS. They had multiple games. They were doing board games. Like, they had Keyforge that came out.
Mhm.
Um, I mean, they did X-Wing. I'm sure you've heard of X-Wing, Star Wars Armada, Rebellion. They had a lot of buns in the oven, or whatever you want to say, prongs in the fire.
Yep.
But their business model, which became clear, unfortunately, is very much build up a ton of hype, push out a new product with a strong IP, tell everyone that you're going to have a ton of support, get everyone really hyped on it, sell a bunch of product, and then year and a half, 2 years later, you would be you'd be loath to find any support for it still because they were already on to the next game that they were building hype for. Like, Star Wars Destiny, as soon as Keyforge really came out, they sort of just it's very much like a pump and dump
Oh, they
kind
made
of mentality,
Keyforge?
business practice. Yeah, so they had
Oh
James
yeah.
Garfield, like, who designed the game. They got the distribution rights and everything to actually produce it, and yeah, so a lot of people blame, like, Asmodee is the distributor that, um, owns Fantasy Flight Games, but Asmodee, like, oversees Fantasy Flight, obviously, but they don't have a ton of direct control, and
Mhm.
you'd notice with the way that they handled the community, like, as Fantasy Flight Games, was not very good. Very little communication about what was happening, delays. The last set that came out before the game was announced canceled
Mhm.
was delayed like 9 months.
Oh wow. 9 months? That's
Um,
crazy.
yeah, it was insane, and the the sad thing is that what they did is they delayed it, they got it out, and they had pre-orders, like, signed off on, and then they announced the cancellation of the game.
Oh.
So, like, Team Covenant got a ton of backlash because they had sold all these pre-orders for this game, and, like, they had, like, their, I can't even remember what they're called, like, the full sets of cards that you could buy like $300
Yeah,
and just
complete
get a play
set.
set of everything.
Wow.
Yeah. And a ton of people were like, this game just got canceled. Like, we want to cancel our pre-orders. And they left a ton of like LGS's, online distributors basically holding the bag saying, like, hey, you bought all our stuff, but now we announced the cancellation. So deal with that backlash for us
Wow.
after we make our money. So it is just really a shady company. And I'm not, it's too bad because like their board games, miniature games, X Wings, fantastic for a game. I love the like playing it. They make really good games.
Mhm.
They just suck as a company, which is the most painful part.
Do
But
you think they just make a lot of money on the front end with some different things that they do, and then when a game progresses and gets bigger, they just don't make as much profit margin? I mean, I would think if they scaled the game up, they could charge more
mm,
for the products, and since they're doing it on a larger scale, more products could be sold. But maybe it's not like that. Maybe there's some. It's either that or they keep failing and they don't know why, and it's because the community support. Hmm.
I think it's deliberate. Like just looking at, I mean, they've been doing it. If you look at, so UFS is an example. Like they've been doing it since like mid 2000s. So UFS, Universal Fighting System, now Universus. It's the big It's the system that MHA, My Hero Academia, is coming
It's
out
like
on.
Jasco Games or something.
Yep, yep. So before Jasco bought the rights to UFS,
Mhm.
Fantasy Flight Games actually had the rights to that game, and they basically did the same thing. They drove it into the ground, and then Jasco ended up actually buying it from them after it was pretty pretty down. And then Jasco, like over the last decade, basically has picked it back up and is trying to like put the pieces back together. And I think Jasco's doing a pretty good job with it too. But I think
Mm.
Jasco's an example of a company who's kind of doing the same thing, but doing it better or like with more care, I guess. They've been supporting the same game for almost, well, it would be a decade now. That obviously they're investing time in it. Whereas I genuinely think the business model for Fantasy Flight Games is like deliberately pump and dump, like build up hype, sell a bunch of product, let the community do what they want with it, and we'll move on to the next game, which for the longevity of games isn't super good, but it
Mm.
is what it is. And I have since moved on to bigger and
Greener
brighter things with
pastures. Yeah.
Fab. Yeah, yeah,
And what
yeah.
got you into
Exactly.
Fab, man? I mean, I looked at the collectability side mainly at first.
Hmm.
It was crazy how when I saw back in October, the prices on these boxes just went through the roof in like no time at
Hmm.
all, and it got me interested in it. And then after the fact, man, I looked at the lore, and it was
Yeah.
amazing, and the artwork, and just the promise of how much it has in the future. Because I think the game is great how it is, but going
Hmm.
forward, there's just so much stuff that they can like do, and it's just the sky's the limit. But what got you into Fab?
So Team Covenant did a video in like January or February. Just they just highlighted the game basically. It wasn't super in depth. It was just one of their like exploratory videos. They've done quite a few of them. If you go on their channel, you can see like check out God tier or check out whatever it is. And it was one of those. And I'd seen it and I was like, oh, that game seems pretty interesting. But at the time, like it was just coming off of like the cancellation of Destiny, and we were just getting into Dragon Ball Super as
Mhm.
like a group because we knew we wanted to transition together and keep playing some game together. Um, and Looked at it, saw it, thought it was interesting. It was good. Okay, we'll keep that in the back of our mind for when it releases majorly here in the states. And then like a month or two later, they did like a more in depth, and not like, and they announced that they're going to be like one of the distributors for it or help distribute it throughout the states and doing a lot of content for it. And Jason, in his avid desire to play every card game that releases, except for MetaZoo, God willing, he won't play that game. He dragged me into that.
He's not gonna
But
do that. He's not gonna pull the plug on that.
God, no, I
Pull
won't.
the
I won't let
trigger.
him do that one. I won't let him do that one. That other game, Gate Ruler, seemed that actually seems pretty interesting. I like the art on it too. But um no, he was like, "Hey man, check out this game." And I was like, "Oh, dude, I already saw a video on that. Let's check it out." And this was probably March,
Mhm.
and I was like, "Yeah, dude, I'd buy into that. I'd see that." Like I like cuz it was reminiscent aesthetically to Magic, and I was a huge Magic player in college and was really into like the competitive scene for that, and was going to local tournaments, stuff like that.
Oh
Not
wow.
anything like traveling because it was college. It wasn't I wasn't I was still living it up, and I was in ROTC and stuff at the time, so I was busy, but I was always sneaking away to play Magic whenever I could.
Eating the
And
ramen noodles and yeah, I feel you, man.
yeah,
A lot of pasta.
exactly.
Yep,
Yeah, all my spare money was going to cracking those packs. So,
yep.
um, so I was reminiscent of that, and I was like, "Oh, like, yeah, this game seems up my alley." And I was actually me and another guy on the team were putting together a game because in the void left by Destiny, I was like, "Dude, I want like a dueling game." So we actually started developing like a dueling game where effectively it was fab. It was where you brought your own equipment and stuff like that, and it was basically just like a deck of actions that you could take, but it was just like
Sounds like
you
fab.
reveal your pieces. Yeah, yeah, literally, Fab. I looked at Fab again, and I was like,
They stole my
dude,
idea.
they they totally came to Minnesota, read my diary. Um, but no, so it was like, oh, perfect. I don't need to do any more work on this or like mess around with it because this is it. And we're like, this is what I
Yeah.
was wanting to play. This is gonna scratch that itch for me. And we basically just all jumped in right away. And at the same time, we had actually, because for those watching this, Bronson just recorded our podcast with us. He was our guest tonight.
That was a lot of fun.
Um, yeah, it was good conversation for sure. But something I'd mentioned on there was that we had an intention to do content for Star Wars Destiny. That was our build up, and that fizzled. So we still had like this desire to create content, and Fab really we saw that opening with just like new game, super interesting at the beginning. Let's jump in, let's start making content. Jason and I really committed hard at the very beginning, like our first video ever, which I actually took down because it was embarrassing. It was
What?
like the
No.
welcome.
With the 3 of
It
you
was
guys at the table?
at the table. Yeah,
Dude,
yeah,
you gotta keep that up. That was a good
yeah. I
video. I
still
liked
got it.
it. It's only
I
like
still got it archived.
2.5
But
minutes. I liked it.
we're gonna make a new one just for like a welcome to the channel video. But no, we just got together. We had like all of our equipment. That was like our first test run of equipment too. It took us like 5 hours to like get that all set up, and we're like, oh, we're gonna do all this stuff. Since then, we've streamlined and we've figured out like a better process to do it all. But it uh, it was just like the perfect opening to like really fulfill all of our itches, and we've been going hard ever since because it's a fantastic game. There was a bit of a lull before Unlimited came out after the alpha announcement, and there wasn't a whole lot happening. There wasn't much competitively. We were like scrounging for all the competitive details we could get from New Zealand secondhand. We were
Yep.
playing like some of our buddies that we met through Fab, like from Australia, just like really trying to like build some sort of like thing to build content around. But dude, thank God for skirmishes and thank God for armories picking up finally
Oh,
because
yeah.
that's made it all easy.
Yeah, now it's been a little bit of a lull, like, between January and, March for Flesh and
Hmm.
Blood in 2021, but it doesn't compare anywhere close to that lull before Unlimited,
Yeah.
and every week, I would see somebody in the Reddit say, "Hey, I bought my booster box for $100 for Welcome to Wrath. I opened it up, my cards are worth $300, I'm out of the game, who wants to pay me?" And it was just constant, like, people just,
Yeah.
getting out and just it was just a dry spell for the game, and,
Yeah.
it was an interesting time, and at the time, man, I think you guys were the very few content creators making like gameplay, like actively as a
Mm,
group. I think you were the only one really as a group. There might have
yeah.
been somebody. I'm not sure, but
Session Blood was putting out some gameplay
that's
videos,
true.
or they were doing at least like competitive talk. Honestly, from the very beginning, we've always said that we want to evaluate the meta. We want to talk about what's popular, what's doing well, what's not, what we're running, why we think it's good, why we think other stuff's bad. Like that's like our focus. That's what we loved listening to when we were playing Destiny, when we were playing Dragon Ball Super. Like we love in your car rides, like I don't like I'm only going to listen to 10-15 minutes of someone tell me what a card's worth, but I'll listen to people talk about what's doing well in the meta, what I should be looking at bringing to my locals, stuff like that. We'd listen to all day, and that was like a staple in these other games that wasn't outside of Session Blood didn't really exist at the beginning.
Mm,
So that was always like our plan was to focus on meta talk, which we still are. We love it. We'll jab at like market stuff and make some jokes and talk about it a little bit because it's hard not to with what's happening in the market. But
Yeah. Well,
yeah, for the most part,
how was starting it up, man? Because like, I know I think you should keep that video up, though. I like that one because when I keep my first one up, and it is
yeah,
horrible. It is absolutely horrible. Like, the screen is misaligned. You don't even see my face. I'm, like, just doing audio, and I say ums and ahs and all this stuff
yeah,
in a wrong place. But, I mean, it's weird starting out, you know? It's you're doing
yeah,
something that you don't typically do, and I for sure I didn't have a background in this shit. Like, I just started making videos because I wanted to
hmm
talk about Flesh and Blood, but there's almost only so much talk I can do in real life, so it's nice to do it on a video format. But so you guys started out like, what were the things you guys went through in the back end? Because I see your videos, but I don't
yeah,
know on the back end. Because I know
mhm,
you had a fourth member too, but I know like time
yep,
constraints.
yeah. So Mark started out with us. Jason and I started it. Jason and I were like, we've talked about this for months. We talked about it during Destiny.
Hmm.
Jason and I were like, we're just gonna buy the equipment. We're gonna get what we need, what we think we need. We did a ton of research, and we're like, we're just gonna get the camera. We're gonna get the mics. We're gonna get the cables. We're gonna get we're getting everything. We're getting the programs on our computer. We're getting set up.
You're
We're
getting
gonna
the
do it.
expensive $50 legendary cold foil cards. $50.
Yeah, $50, right? And we're doing it. You guys can hop in and like join us if you want. Blake hopped in immediately, like he was immediately on board, and he's a musician. He's like, "Oh, I've got a mic and I've got all this stuff." It's like, well, go f
Perfect.
yourself. Like you had everything this whole time. And then Mark was really interested in Fab too, and he was one of our really good friends from Destiny. He didn't go to Dragon Ball Super. Not a big anime guy, but
Mhm.
we uh we got him over to Fab, no issues, and he's been playing with us behind the scenes. Hasn't had time. He's gonna have a kid. He hasn't had a ton of time to be on like a lot of podcasts and stuff or play in tournaments, so he feels a little bit um, like he can't speak as much to the meta because like we're all really like deep in it, and he's kind of he's got other stuff going on. So no
Oh,
harm,
I
no
feel
foul.
that.
But
Yeah.
but yeah, the back end of it, dude. Those first couple of videos were really rough. We tried doing a lot of different things. Like we were trying to record audio separately to like keep the quality up and like
Oh, and you edited the background? That
and
looks
I would
insanely hard.
yeah, so like editing the background, recording the audio separate and like importing the tracks and then matching up because we recorded when we were doing that roundtable talk, like just the intro video.
Mhm.
They each had their own lapel mics because we didn't all have like our fancy mic yet. And so I had lapel mics. So I had given them each a lapel mic, each recording one to Jason's cell phone, one was running into my computer, and then my mic was running through
Oh, wow.
my yeah, my mic was running through the XLR cable into my computer. And like I had three different tracks. I had to edit them all separate or like put them all together, combine them, and it was just dude, it was
That
such a
sounds
mess. It was
so
so much
hard, and you had to,
chaos.
like, mash
It
all the
was
tracks together and make sure that
yeah,
you're
you had
not,
to
like,
sync
1
them up.
second off because then it would,
Yep.
like, you talk over each other. Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah, so it was pretty nuts, and then it totally wasn't worth it at all. So this whole, like, Discord thing and Streamlabs is just a godsend because it makes all that stuff
Yeah.
so easy. But at the beginning, it was rough, and I think to your point that you had made earlier, like, it's hard to talk. Like, the amount of takes that we did for that simple video is insane. I think
Oh,
I
yeah.
legitimately think it took us 16 or 17 takes to, like, get that, and it's not worth that. It's not worth that
Especially
effort, right?
intros, and intro videos especially are
Mhm.
the hardest. Like, intros
Yeah.
to videos, I'll retake a video like 8 times, and 8 of those
Mhm.
times are literally me just opening up, and I just don't say
Mhm.
it the way I want to, and it just totally throws
Mhm.
off the vibe. But after that, like, minute into the video, it just, it flows a lot better, but just starting it out is just very awkward, and
Mhm.
especially intro videos like, "Hey, I'm Dane. Hey, I'm
This is
Jason."
why this is why you should listen to us talk on our
Yeah.
channel.
Yep.
Let's not make this awkward or weird, and then you make it awkward and weird because you're trying to do it perfect.
Yeah, it's so hard.
And we were talking on the podcast too a little bit about how um like you kind of expose yourself a little bit as someone who's putting out content,
You
right?
would
Like
do what? I'm sorry.
you expose yourself
Yeah.
like who you are, right? Like you're putting yourself out there like, God, I hope people like me. I
Yeah.
hope they don't just destroy me in the comments.
It's
And
true.
you get over that pretty quick. And I think
Yeah.
once you break that barrier, get over that hump and just kind of stop, you're like, this is me. I'm gonna say what I want to say. And people like it, they can watch. If not, then it comes back to I think we put a lot of pressure on ourselves when we first started because it's like, dude, we want to grow, we want to be big, we want to be popular, we want to be like one of the standard bearers for fab content. And we had a lot of pressure put on ourselves just from ourselves to put out really good quality stuff from the
Mm.
get-go. And I remember I watched this just random YouTube video just talking about just like just make a video.
I
Just
totally agree with that. Don't
don't even
think.
look at your statistics until you're 30 videos in.
Yep.
Don't look at who's subscribing, what your numbers are at. Make 30 videos. Once you are at that, then you can start to look and see like what's working, what's not. And by video 15 to 20, we were already kind of humming along. I don't want to say humming along because if you look back, it's pretty rough at the beginning there. But it's just start. Yeah. And if you're someone listening or watching and you're like, dude, I kind of want to start making content, do it. It's super rewarding and
It
it's really
is.
fun.
Like, we
And
can
it helps
speak
you
better, right? I mean, speaking is a
we
lot
speak
better.
good. We speak
Yeah.
good now. Yeah.
I speak well now.
Yeah.
No,
Your
but
mama
dude, it's
told
so true
me.
because it's easy for people to see like us or other big, YouTubers out there and say, "Wow,
Mhm.
like they're so successful. They had that from day one." But that's not true at
Everyone's
all.
saying that about us
That
for
is not
sure.
true.
Everyone's like, "Oh, they're so
Yeah.
successful."
Getting all those likes, cashing them
Oh,
in at the
yeah.
bank.
Cashing in all those likes for all of that all of those feel good bat backs, yep,
Oh
or
yeah.
back pats.
It's tough. Like, I don't know if you've had ones where people comment or are just mean. I had this one guy say like, Bronson, your beard is disgusting. You're disgusting, and I hate you. And it's like, oh, well, what do I say to that? And it's like, I don't know. You don't get too many of those, but it kind of ruins your
No,
day for a
we
little
have.
bit.
Yeah. So, you know Jason and Blake. You've
Yes,
interacted with us enough.
I get hurt.
Well,
Jason would not get hurt. He would
I
find
think
their
we weeded
Facebook.
out we didn't weed out, but we made it pretty clear early on that we're just gonna fucking destroy you in our comments ourselves if we see stuff like that. Especially so I actually the one time that I really like put out myself because I'm a little bit more of like the censor of the group. Like literally, I censor out all of our swear words and stuff in our editing. But also like watching Jason and Blake's pretty good, but Jason get a little heated, and I'll be the one to message him and be like, "Cool, man. Like that's probably good. Like we don't need to push that any farther." But that's how I view myself at least. They're probably like, "Dude, this Dane guy, he's so annoying, always holding me back."
I
Um,
don't think so.
but
I think it needs to be
no.
regulated a bit because I've had a video where I literally just excessively curse every minute, and I listen to
Mhm.
it back, and I'm like, "Oh man, it sounds like I'm in high school." Like
Mhm.
it's just a little bit too much. Like cursing in every once in a while is good, but when you're just
Yeah.
overly like constantly fuming, so I don't know.
Yeah.
I like the vibe
There's
you
been
guys
a
have.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
No, there's been a couple videos where editing it, I was like, we went a little heavy on the cursing this time around. Maybe I'll just make a point before our next video to tone it back a little bit. But to our namesake's point, right? Like we're Outcast Haven. We kind of just are gonna do our own thing regardless. So we'll be the outcast. But back to getting those comments, right?
Hmm.
Um like there was a dude who was just saying some really mean stuff about some local gameplay. Like none of us were even playing in it. It was just some local gameplay telling us that this dude was trash and he should just stop playing the game. And we fucking destroyed him in the comments
Good.
because that's one of those things that it's just locals, man. Like they're letting
Yeah.
us record their stuff and putting it on our channel. Like we don't need this type of like community. That's not what we're going for here. So you can go after yourself and you should definitely unsubscribe.
And it's a
So
game. You're supposed to have fun. Like,
yeah, it's locals in
yeah,
DBS. Like we're just
locals.
playing for fun. It's much more casual than like even an armory, right? So
Yeah.
yeah, but yeah, we kind of we try to weed those out pretty early and
Yeah.
don't take it to heart because people on the internet, like we said in the podcast, all I can definitely relate to Ultron, who was on the internet for 2 minutes and was like, everyone's got to die, everyone's got to die.
Well, yeah, and honestly, at the most part, the Flesh and Blood community is like really, really good. I mean,
Hmm.
very those are very rare comments, and I haven't gotten some stuff in a while. But it is just something else that you go through. But overall, yeah, man, I agree. Like, I hope more people make content. And whenever I see people
Yeah.
make new content as a new content creator, I'm all about promoting that and building them
Hmm.
up. And you did that for me early on. I don't know if you remember. I've said this story a little bit, man, but it was episode 5 of your Tuesday night gameplay. I think it was Tuesday or maybe it was Wednesday at the time. But I got on and I started chatting, and you asked Blake and Jason, "Hey, you see Bronson's video? He made a really cool video." And dude, I was just like, I had like tears in my eyes a little bit because at the time I had like 20 subscribers, and you were like, "Yo, yeah, I watched this thing where he opened these like repacks and he was blaming Carta Monday and LSS, and you're like, I thought it was a really funny
I
video."
remember the
And
video,
and
dude.
they
That was
didn't even know who
hilarious.
I was, but dude, it just meant so much to me because at the time, I don't know about you, but what happened is I put that video out, right?
Hmm.
And 30 minutes later, 3 people unsubscribed from me, and, like,
Oh no.
I got, like, negative reviews, and I just felt like shit. I was like, "Oh, man, I put a lot of work into that video." You know how long it took
Yeah.
me to repack that stuff? And, like, just hearing that positivity from you, that was cool. Cause like, maybe people didn't get it. Maybe people were, like thought
Hmm.
I was, like, upset at LSS or Carta Money, but it was definitely a parody, and I
It was a
put
parody
parody
video.
in,
Yeah.
like, in big letters. But,
Yeah.
yeah,
Hey,
man,
people
it's
on the
it's
internet don't read. They don't read, man.
yeah, it's that kinda stuff, I don't know, I don't know, I really like that.
Yeah, and, like,
Cheers to
that
you.
was oh, thanks, man. Cheers to you for taking that step, man. You put yourself out there. That's the hardest thing,
It
honestly,
is.
is being able to just say, "Here I am, world. Take it or leave it."
It's like that
And you
coding
definitely
thing,
did that.
"Hello, world," the "Hello, world"
Exactly.
doc.
Yep, yep. No, yeah, dude, I've loved your stuff from the beginning. I love, like, the just because no one else is doing what you're doing, really. Like, you're doing a very
I don't
freeform
know what I'm doing.
discussion,
I'm doing, like,
like,
a lot of different things.
yeah, it shows and I love it. I
Appreciate it.
love it. No, yeah, but if I had any advice for people that are looking at, like, getting into this is just make a video and just be yourself. Like, don't try to
Yep.
put on a show, don't try to make it into something bigger than it is. Like, you're a dude putting out a video about something you love. Tell us what you think about it. And people are going to like it. People aren't going to like it. That's okay.
It
Enjoy
is.
the process of making the videos. That's what we always fall back on is you have to enjoy doing this. Like, I genuinely love editing. I genuinely love putting together an outline, making a video, talking through gameplay. Like, that's one of the outlets I have in my life. And it's always going to be enjoyable. We could lose 100 subscribers and I would feel bad and I'd wonder why, but I wouldn't stop making videos. Like, it's just
Oh, for sure. It's a
it's about
passion
really
thing, right? Like,
yeah,
you're
yeah, it's a
passionate
passion
about it.
project.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
You're right.
So, definitely don't be something you're not. That is the worst shit to watch. Like, just make a video and don't be something you're not, dude. Just be yourself. Put out info about what you love. Do your style of video, whatever you want to be putting out, because no one was doing, what you were doing, Bronson, when you first started putting your stuff out. You didn't have like a template to go off of. You were just like, I want to make, quick, short, little out there videos about what I think is funny or interesting and just pump those out. And people love it. Some people don't. They're not subscribed. That's cool.
Yep.
But as long as you're liking what you're doing, I do hate people that put on shows though. If I can tell watching your video that you're like
Yeah.
being something that you're probably not,
Because
or
it
you're
just,
trying to like,
shows through really. Like, you don't
yeah,
really you're like, yeah.
unless you're like a movie star actor, at some point you're gonna break persona and people are just gonna be like, oh dude, yeah, it's super cheesy. So
Yeah, when I started out, man, I basically like scoured the Flesh and Blood TCG website and was like, "This is an article. I'm gonna read it for 5 minutes. All right, now I have an opinion. gonna make a video. Like, it was just like that was my format, like 5
Yeah,
minutes of research and then, like, bam, make a video. And, I mean, it worked out pretty good for a while, but, I mean, I also think people like, find their form in a way. I mean, I think you
yeah,
guys found your form pretty simply. You're like, "Okay, we're gonna make gameplay content, and then we're gonna evaluate the meta and just evaluate the game." Boom, like, you had a cool format from the get-go,
mhm,
and I think that's a really cool way to go about it too, if you know what you're doing. But if you're new and you have no idea what you're doing, then you could just do anything as long as you're putting stuff out. I don't know about
yeah,
you guys. I'm curious about your count, but I think my deleted video count has must be around like the 80, 70 range. Like, do you guys delete a lot of videos? Like, just unhide or hide them?
on our channel?
Yeah.
None. We've got well, no, that's a lie. I did delete the very first video that I told you about, and that's only because it played for everybody that came to the channel,
Hmm.
and I was like, I that's it was no longer, like, our like, we were talking about, like, box openings and stuff there too, because we thought that was gonna be something that we were covering, and then everyone and their mom started opening boxes, and we're like, "Okay, cool, we don't need to cover that." Like, so that was, like, one of the things that we highlighted early thinking it was gonna be what we were gonna be about, and it
Hmm.
ended up not. So that was one of the reasons I took it down. It was a little rough, and I didn't want that to be like the first impression you got of our channel. So that is the only video aside from like live streams that we accidentally streamed that we've deleted. Everything else is out there. So we're actually talking about going back and just like for ourselves and for like fun little parodies, doing like a mystery science theater like 3000, like us and like little
Oh, that would be
black
perfect.
silhouettes at the bottom watching like our first podcast and just like totally destroying ourselves. I don't know, we like that type of shit. So
Dude, that'd be awesome. I would watch that. That'd be perfect. Yeah, no,
yeah,
because I
yeah. So
think you guys found the rhythm really good, and I think quality is the key. When I first started, my quality wasn't really up to snuff, so a lot of
mhm,
the early stuff I had to delete. But in a way, it's really not much of a it wasn't a failure. It was more of like building
mhm,
blocks along the way. And Jason said it a lot to me before. It's like reps, you have to rep it out.
mhm.
And it takes a lot of talking in order to become actually kind of good at this and being able to speak
Yeah,
good. But
being cognizant of trying to limit your likes and ums and dudes, which during this conversation I've let myself go, and I'm not perfect at it by any means on our own podcast or
oh,
anything.
same.
I will say there was a podcast I was editing the other night, and I'm like, wow, I said like probably 40 times this podcast. That was kind of painful because I'm putting it out. I'm not gonna edit it out or anything because it just that makes it more awkward and would take me another hour. But
Oh yeah, if
it,
that, maybe more.
yeah, but getting the reps in, yeah, like quality was always really important to us. I will put out less videos if the quality is where we want it to be,
Hmm.
but I was putting in so I'm the main editor for all of our content, and
That's a big thing, man. I mean, it takes a long time to edit.
it did at the beginning because like to edit through like the ums and the likes and the ahs and the awkward silences at the beginning was tough, and I would say it was probably however long our video was, it took me about double that to like edit it down and get it to where I wanted it to be. And
Mm,
now between just getting better at editing, between all of us getting better spoken, being able to hold a conversation better, feed into points better, not talk over each other, stuff like that. Having less of that to edit out just because we've gotten better at the communication aspect of it, it makes like editing now, I can actually edit a video at about triple time
wow,
or double time and or not double 1.8 times speed, whatever that is.
that's essentially
Almost
double, man.
almost
It's
double
double in
time.
my book.
Like, I can just go through double time, listen for swear words, listen for pauses that are too long and quick, like, I've got my hotkeys set up. So, like, that part of it has gotten a lot simpler,
Hmm.
and it's by no means as daunting as it was to maintain, like, that same level of quality, and it's allowed me more free time to push the quality a little bit, try new things with, like, our live stream. So, yeah, you just it's about starting, though, because if I wouldn't have done the 2-hour editing sessions on a 1-hour video, it would have been if I would have just always or would have just, like, gotten stuck with those blinders on,
Yeah.
this would be miserable still. So, just gotta
That's
start. Just got to
Yeah,
start.
and that's cool that you like editing so that you wanted to get better at it
Mhm.
and then, you do that because I hate editing. I mean, that basically made me want to get just better at talking so that I could just
Yeah,
not have to edit anything. Even if I like cough in the middle, it's like, nope, don't care. Posting it.
amen.
I mean, because it's like the feeling behind that is just so good. And I know it's
Mhm.
not like I don't have the most quality in my videos when I do that because I don't edit stuff out, but the feeling of just hitting that record button, speaking for 20 minutes, and then pressing like stop and then instantly uploading to YouTube is just so
Mhm.
crisp. I don't know. But I
Yeah.
think that it definitely people are playing to their strengths, and some other
Mhm.
people are really good at like, there's this one guy who's really good at marketing. His name's Joey, and he has the Decks and Drafts YouTube channel, and he made this
Mhm.
really cool marketing pamphlet. I don't know if you saw it, man, but it's really cool. It's like a beginner's guide to all the heroes, and it shows like a beginner's deck tech. I'll have to
Oh,
send
yeah,
it to you after.
it's
Did you
the
see that?
marketing material to send out to shops, right? Or that
Yeah,
like,
dude.
shops could ask for or whatever. Yeah, yeah.
That thing's amazing, and he just
Yeah.
whipped that up because he's, like, really good at that background, and not only that, there's this other guy, Jesse from the Fab Cracks YouTube channel,
Mhm.
and he's really good
Mhm.
at, like, background editing, and he made this really good lore video where the artwork is, like, coming to life, and
Mm.
it's really cool seeing those type of aspects. Because when I got into this, I had, like, 0 skills whatsoever. So,
Yeah.
I had to, like, learn how to speak, and that's basically what I'm harping on, but just I don't know, it's just cool to see people come in with different type of
Yeah.
strengths.
Yeah, like, I definitely like the video and audio editing. One strength that I don't have is, like, the graphics. I
Mhm.
do a lot of Photoshop editing. I actually made the if you see Matt Rogers' post about a charity drive happening for the Cancer Society in New Zealand, it's a charity event they got coming up in May? I gotta look at the date again. That information is gonna be out there. I don't know when this is gonna get posted, but it'll be out there. I made the banner, like, I
Oh,
photoshopped
nice,
that
dude.
banner to that they're using for that. But, like, Photoshop is good, but the one thing that hinders me, I really love lore, and I really wanna do good quality lore videos, but DM Armada's crushing that. You've got these other content creators that are putting out really cool, dynamic, like, lore videos with, like,
Yeah.
flowing backgrounds and stuff, and I'm just
Kale
like,
from Dead
I
Summer
can
Art, yeah.
yeah, 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 Dead Summer Art for sure, like, feel stupid for not mentioning them because they do like, he does amazing stuff too. It's like,
But
I
it's
can
like,
put up pictures and talk, but that's it. Like, that's I don't know how to do all that fancy
oh,
editing,
yeah,
so
but
it might be a skill I dig into,
dude,
but
not only editing, but it's like the knowledge, like you have to research all that lore and make sure you're
mhm,
right. Because that's the biggest
mhm,
problem. If you post a 6-minute video and you're like, hey, here's my lore video, and someone said, oh, actually, Dorinthia never went into the Savage Land. She went into, down
mm,
in Aria. Then you're like,
mhm.
crap, what do you do? Just do you delete the video and
It's
like
not down in
re-edit and
Aria, it's
yeah.
up in
Yeah,
east in Aria.
exactly. If you miss like one thing,
Yeah,
someone could post in the comments, and you just feel as a content creator like, oh, it's not
yeah,
perfect. But when I make a video, I can be like completely wrong. I could be talking out my ass because I just say
mhm.
I'm a normal guy. So
That's the nice thing about doing all
exactly,
opinion videos because
you can be
don't care
100%
what you
wrong,
think.
and it's
Yeah.
no big deal. You don't even
Yeah,
have
it's
to
fun.
edit it out afterwards.
No. No, it's the best part about doing opinion pieces is that I don't have to edit anything Jason says. It's just all
Yeah.
dude, I love, like, making little comments and stuff when Jason's talking. I
Oh yeah.
apologize if it's annoying for anyone watching, but no, it's good. It's all
I
in good
love it
fun.
because you egg him on. Like you'd be like, "Really,
Yeah.
Jason?" And then he'll like,
I love poking him because he gets fired up. He gets real fired up.
"Oh, he's a fire in that man."
Mhm. But yeah, man, so what's next for Bronson?
What's next
The
for
newly
me?
when did you rebrand? When did you become Bronson? When was that?
I think I did that 3 months ago because I was talking to people
God, I
in
didn't notice for that long. I feel so stupid. I was
No,
like,
you're good,
"Bronson's
man.
blood," and you're like, "It's just Bronson now." I was like, "Is it really?" I had to, like, go on YouTube and check. I was like, "Dude, I've been watching videos and everything. It's just Bronson now. You're right."
Well, it's fine if it's like, I don't know, like, it could still be the channel name, I don't know. I just didn't want when I was in, like, people's chats for them to
Mhm.
say, "Oh, look, it's Bronson's blood." It's more like I wanted them to say, "Oh, look, like, hey, Bronson, like,
Yeah.
that is
Yeah.
you." So I was like, "Yeah, I might as well just shorten it off." But I started with Bronson's blood, and retrospectively, I think it should have been, I don't know, been an interesting thing to make it a little bit different. I always thought that name was kinda weird, but, it's whatever. It is
It
what it
stuck out
is.
to me. I
Oh,
was like,
cool.
it was easy to it's just unique, you know? It had blood. Lots of blood. Lots of
Yes.
blood in the channel
I don't
names.
know if you knew as well, but when I first started, just saying like getting into stuff, I
Mhm.
literally Google searched blood droplets, and I like took a picture of blood droplets and made that my profile picture. This is when I had like three people following me, but like. Yeah, dude, I just like because I'm not good at that graphic stuff. But later on, I
Yeah.
like started updating that stuff. But
Mhm.
yeah. But what's going on with me in the future? I don't know, more talks like this, I think. Honestly, I
Yeah.
like engaging with people in the community and talking to people and just meeting new people and boosting people up
Mhm.
because it's really cool seeing, especially the new content creators out there, starting up. Uh, the level of quality that they have in some of their videos are just it just blows me away. And it's just like
Yeah.
if more of those types of people continue making stuff, they're gonna like attract more people and get the game growing. Other than that, I mean, just random market talks, random rants,
Yeah.
just stuff like that. But I have been playing in competitive stuff like recently with the
Yeah. You
skirmish
were
events.
telling us you've been doing some more tournaments and stuff.
Yeah, might as well because the participation thing and but the
Mhm.
issue is like I want to make gameplay content, but I'd just be like talking out my ass a lot of times. Again, probably a lot of people are doing that already. But I just
Yeah.
don't feel like I have a really good grasp on competitive gameplay. I have a lot of fun, like
Mhm.
playing Flesh and Blood is amazing, and playing the games are fun. But just I don't know. What about you guys? Are you guys staying the course? I love your format, man. I mean, it's like Tuesday night streaming.
Yeah. Yeah, no,
That's like
that's
your
gonna be the
core, right?
cornerstone. Yeah, that's our cornerstone. Like I was telling you, I don't know if it was on this, I can't remember now what we started talking about, but yeah, like our goal is to hit our goal right now is to hit a year not missing a Tuesday night live stream. So like this week when we lost, me and Jason both lost electricity and internet. My internet was out until the next day.
Oh
We
man,
had one of our buddies and like subscribers from the very beginning, Chris hopped on and played some casual games with Blake and like saved it
that's
because we would
awesome.
be heartbroken if we lost like our streak after week 34. It's like, oh no.
I know.
So that's like our short term goal right now. We definitely put a lot of emphasis on gameplay. That's just what we like. That's what we focus on. I I am the most collectory of the 3 of us. Usually, we don't really hit on it. I'm fine with it. Like, I've got cold foils that I'm really proud of, that I love, and I've got behind me, I've got the Legend Story box, you know, with the book, and then I've got my 1 pack of unopened Welcome to Wraith Alpha and 1 pack of Arcane Alpha that I'm, like, sitting on just because I think it's cool. It's Katsu and Dash.
That's
So, I'm
awesome.
like, "Alright, cool, I'm gonna keep those." That's like the extent of like my collection. So that's about all the market talk you'll probably ever hear from, or all the like the collector investor talk that you'll ever hear from us, because we do genuinely just enjoy the gameplay.
Yeah.
And like to your point from earlier, a lot of people are, you know, probably going to be stepping in with Monarch, and I don't think that there's anything wrong with people wanting to talk gameplay when they're coming out, right? Like it's you start out and you're just new to playing, like maybe don't go super hard on saying this card's great and this card's bad, and if you play this card you're trash if you've been playing for a month.
Yeah.
But like playing games, putting out gameplay, as long as if you have an enjoyable format, and you know your games are interesting and you're trying stuff that other people aren't really trying, like dude, I ran a blue heavy Azalea into like a red heavy. Like I don't know. Just as an example though, like, if you're doing something that's interesting and you've got an enjoyable format to watch, people are gonna watch you.
Oh
Just
yeah.
I mean, know be self aware enough to know that, and we are a bit unaware at times that like New Zealand, those players
Oh, they've been in it for a while.
just
They know.
yeah, I mean, they've been playing for so long, they know stuff that we haven't. They've forgotten stuff about meta that we haven't even learned yet. Like, the fact that Dorinthia, like, is so prevalent in the United States right now,
Yeah.
just talking to some of those guys, they're like, "Oh, yeah, like, we experienced that too, like, 10
That was a
months ago,"
phase. Yeah.
until yeah, until you really learn how to just, you know, you run her out of cards, and fatigue Dorinthia, and she's just not really that viable. It's like, oh well, she's really good here still, so we're gonna talk about that meta.
It's true,
It could be a
man.
little bit. Yeah, it could be a little bit of trying to be as knowledgeable as you can be with what's happening around you, right? So
Yeah.
I think we all kind of find our niche a little bit and try to fit in where we can, but it's all about putting out what you love to put out and enjoying doing it. So,
I feel you, man. And it's about being opinionated instead of being like the golden god, golden source of truth of this is the only way to play the game. Because if
all
anybody's
right.
played Flesh and Blood for, at least a couple weeks, you realize that there's a lot of cards that look like they suck ass in the beginning, but then
Mhm,
you realize later on, like, oh my gosh, this has so much better usage here. There's
mhm,
a crazy combo in this way. Like I just learned the other day, and I was just talking to someone about this, is the one rifting card, if you use that
mhm,
and then use the time snap potion, then you gain like 2 action points instead of just one. So it's like there's all these synergies that nobody thought of. And
mhm,
also with the Guardian, with the Sledge of Anvilheim, where you don't have a once per turn action, you can attack twice. I mean, that's definitely going to be used in the
mhm.
future where, people will have some crazy, absurd OTK, type of thing where they build up a bunch of resources and then they attack
Yeah,
with
yeah.
Sledge like 4 times in a row if they have go again. But
Mhm, mhm,
there's a lot of things that people don't realize in the game, and I agree with you. I think the meta right now for the U.S. a lot is very just straightforward, and it's like
mhm.
this is a consistent deck and it's constantly going to pump out damage. I
Yeah.
think we're gonna go and we're gonna see more type, and I think we're evolving now into like the Kano era
Mhm.
of Kano's ridiculous. You can do this crazy combo, and yeah, it's cool to
Yeah.
see, man.
I'm hot and cold on Kano finding his place because I am getting a little bit tired of like the Dorinthia, but also the Benji list that I have, I think runs pretty well into Dorinthia,
Mm.
and I've been having a ton of fun with that, but it's closer to 35, 65 into Kano, into like a good wizard player.
Mm.
So once Kano starts becoming more prevalent, I might have to shelf Benji unless I can really keep him clean and end up beating out like wizard players that are new to it.
I mean,
But
what do
it's
you do?
unfortunate.
Build like maybe
Yeah.
Sunkiss yellows and Sunkiss reds in your deck? I mean, it's it,
It wouldn't work in my build. I've toyed with like more life gain. Just
mhm,
I think that honestly, right now, just having the 4 null rune kind of makes up enough for Benji's lower life that I found. And it doesn't hinder his playstyle as much as losing like Snapdragons would hurt an Ira.
mhm,
So um so yeah, the build I have now is decent into wizard, and that's into Jason, who's been playing wizard for like 7 months now, and like playing against people from Australia and New Zealand, and trying to like get his play of wizard really clean. So
mm.
I'm pretty confident if I can go about 35, 65 into him, that it's not going to be brutal when Kano starts making his rise up, but yeah, like stuff like that. I'm excited to see how the meta shakes up with, especially with Monarch. That's going to be super cool.
Oh
Um,
yeah, it's gonna
yeah, it's
change
going
the
to be
game. It
super
seems.
exciting, dude. Monday. I don't know if this video is going to be out before Monday or not, but spoilers, dude. Finally.
I can't wait. It's gonna be so cool to see. I mean, and it seems like LSS is bringing on a lot of people. I mean, we got Tulare Community
Mhm.
College, and
Yeah,
I wonder if Rudy's gonna get one. And man, there's gonna be, I don't know.
he'll open
It's
another
gonna be
box with a fabled in it.
yeah, the
No
Fable and
way.
everyone else's spoiler card. And
Yeah, yeah.
no,
No,
I feel
I.
you, man. It's because that's gonna be our first taste of the new game. And you and I have
Mhm,
been, I've been listening to you guys too, and we've been hyping up Monarch since like what, November, October. I mean,
mhm,
it's been on our radar for a really long freaking time, and it's just it's hard too though, because everything in life is about expectations, I feel, and if your expectations are
mhm.
high, it's really hard to meet that. And my expectations for Monarch are like through the ceiling. So
Yeah.
I don't know what they're gonna print on paper that's gonna make me that super excited.
Yeah, you're already thinking like, "Oh, I'm gonna be disappointed probably a little
I
bit,"
hope
but that's
not.
okay.
I know I'm gonna be excited regardless, but it's just like,
Yeah.
what could they do? And I guess we'll find
Yeah.
out in 4 days. We don't have to worry anymore.
Right. So dude, if you've been watching our stuff, like I was really heavy on attribute mixing before like the light and dark thing got announced. I was like, dude, please, because I don't want to have sets come out that I'm not interested in, or
Mhm.
like I'm gonna have to buy 6 boxes to get my full play set of everything for this new class. Like I don't want that. But the light and dark thing kind of solved that. It was like one of those really unique mechanics that they announced that was something I wasn't expecting that sort of alleviates that problem. Because if we can, my presumption is that you can run like a light or a dark version of your hero. So like light Katsu, dark Katsu. If you can look forward to seeing like new light generics and dark generics in every set, that lets me update my Katsu every single set that comes out. So that's
Oh,
fine.
yeah.
So that doesn't worry me so much. Now I'm more hyped about this like secondary resource of like the copper, silver, gold, and the pitch. Like them talking about how the pitch is going to be complete as a mechanic after this set. So I think that's gonna be what really interests me. But regardless, my expectations aren't super. They're not through the moon, or they're not through the roof, right?
Mhm.
But I think it's just gonna be good. Like, no matter what, the meta is gonna shake up, we're gonna get new toys to play with, and it's gonna be enjoyable. So that's really I'm just excited to get something new to play with, really.
Yeah. And it would be nice to
So
know that, like, this is it. Like, they're not gonna come
mhm,
out with some crazy thing in the future, most likely. Like, this is the full game. And
mhm,
I mean, it's crazy too when you think back, and you and I haven't experienced this, but I've talked to other people who were into Flesh and Blood before Arcane Rising. When they found out that there's like arcane damage, they thought, "Whoa, what is this? Is this
mhm,
just damage you need to take before?" And then they found out they had no rune. But
mhm.
I wonder if it's really going to be that type of event where people are just totally blown away by like some new type of thing. And I guess you're
Yeah,
right with the resource thing with the copper, and it'll be cool to
mhm.
see how that pans out with the gold and everything.
Yeah, I think so. I don't know if anyone listening's listened to any of our stuff, um, I really think that the copper, silver, gold is gonna be a mechanic to let you basically essentially purchase cards from deck, which is what Cash In already lets you do, right? But it's gonna be a
Hmm.
secondary resource that hopefully a lot of classes get access to, if not all of them. And you're going to have this one resource that's going to let you purchase cards from your deck, and this other resource that lets you pitch to play cards. So it's going to be like this like dual action, this dual economy happening throughout your turn or your opponent's turn too. Defense reactions that create a silver, and or defense reactions that let you spend a copper to draw a card,
Mm.
something like that. So that way it's replacing itself in hand, which is super useful and not something that we currently have, because the closest thing is Sink Below, but that just lets you cycle one of your remaining cards. So um, yeah, or like, dude, if you arsenal a card that lets you draw a card if you spend a copper, you got 5 cards in hand after blocking. It seems pretty solid. So I
Yeah.
think that it's gonna be something like that that'll be unique and add to the depth of thought put into a turn or how you're gonna defend, stuff
It's
like
hard
that.
to
So
imagine
I'm excited.
too. Yeah, what gold is going to do, because if copper already does the cash in thing and that's 4, I think
Mhm.
gold is like 10 copper or something ridiculous. So,
I think it's 2 I think the exchange rate is 4 coppers, 2 silver, and 2 silvers, 1 gold, something like that.
gotcha. Yeah,
I
so
think. I don't know. It says somewhere. I haven't read it in a while because copper is all that really matters.
oh
Maybe it's
yeah.
just something like you can spend 2 resources and that's what gives you the card draw off the silver, or spend 1 resource, that's what gives you the card draw off the gold, something like that. But yeah, it'll be interesting. What's up?
Oh yeah, no, it's gonna be pretty crazy. I mean, so what do you think about the meta stuff right now? I mean, do you think that it's gonna change in a way to make some heroes a little bit more, viable? Because I know Azalea is one of the big ones that people think
Yeah.
like, hey, she doesn't have enough in her kit, and of course, a lot of the other heroes that are blitz oriented, like Benji and all that stuff, they don't really
Mm.
have their class specific cards. Do you think we're gonna see a lot of those, or?
I would love to see the current heroes get their equipment suite rounded out with like their final piece of class armor. That would be super cool. I
Mm,
would love to see. I was thinking about it, and I was actually just doing like a mental exercise with myself. I was like, okay, what would break Azalea for a chess piece, and like what would be like the most And I think what I came to was I think Azalea would still not be broken if her chest piece had like a 3 armor with battle worn, because all of her stuff breaks.
That would be
She's like
crazy.
her one of her like weakest is her weakest aspects aside from the arsenal just being like super difficult to play around, and the fact that like she wants to go tall but her cards kind of want to go wide with like the go again arrows. Like it seems a little bit like it's fighting
It's just too
itself.
much stuff going on at one time. It's hard to
Yeah.
synergize. No, I feel that. It's a hard deck to
And the
play.
thing that the thing that hurts her a lot right now is that she loses her hand to defense no
Yeah.
matter, because I mean the cross wrap, the perch grapplers, the her arms don't have armor, right? The
I don't think
bracers,
so. I think
but
it's like load an arrow or give
I
plus
mean
one.
they've all got blade break, so it's like you use them to defend and they're gone.
And
So
they
I
have
was like, okay,
arcane resist or arcane barrier, so maybe she's supposed to be
th-
geared more towards wizard because she gets her
yeah.
normal armor but has arcane barrier. I know.
Yeah, it could be. I mean, Dash too. Like Dash has got the a lot of innate arcane,
Yeah.
but I was thinking like, oh, Ranger chess piece, and this is a hot take. And this is just like my like nonsense. A Ranger chess piece that's got 3 battle warns, so it blocks for 3, then 2, then 1.
Uh-huh.
I was like, that would be kind of cool because it's gonna be effectively the only thing you block with because you don't want to break your cross wrap, you don't want to break your boots.
Yeah.
So I don't know, something like that with, and the second Arsenal slot I think would be super OP.
Oh man, that would
I
be
think
so
that that would be
nice.
I think that that would be pretty.
Because then
I
you
think
could
that that
put
would.
two arrows that have to like go again and just like constant like wait up and then just bum rush the opponent. Yeah, I think that would
Yeah.
really make her too.
I think, like, maybe instead, like, on the chess piece, do, like, a once again action reload with go again, something like that, like, just to let you play with the arsenal a little more, but without giving you 2 arsenal slots and effectively a 6-card hand.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I think that there's lots that can be done with Ranger. Viscera is being toyed with, and I'm seeing people come out with some pretty interesting lists. I think that I'm more curious. Honestly, I'm more interested to see what comes out that helps classes that are already good,
Mm.
because I'm not sure how good LSS was at calling. I'm assuming that they're very intelligent. They play tested this, for
Yeah, since
a long
May, I
time.
think. Yeah.
So I'm assuming that they've got their head wrapped around what they thought was going to be good and be bad. And like, I'd be curious to see what comes out for the good classes right now, because if stuff comes out that continues to bolster them, it's like, oh, that might be, dude, if we got another 6 or 4 months, 6 months, whatever it is before the next set of just more Ira or more Dorinthia,
Yeah, it's gonna
I'm
suck.
just going to be like, oh, God.
Especially Ira, like the one extra damage is just so good every turn. I mean,
Yeah.
it just drags the game on, but yeah, man, I
Yeah.
can't wait to see. It's cool to be on this ride with you, man, and glad I started
Mhm.
content creating, and it's cool that
Dude, so
we're
are
on
we,
this
man.
ride.
Like, I've loved your stuff, dude.
Oh, thanks, dude. You know, a lot of times I ramble on, and now it's weird. I started first making 5 minute videos, and now I make like 20, 30, 40 minute videos. It's just constantly, I appreciate people who like listen to me that long. Like, I don't know. I just do it because sometimes it's like, it's cool when you're on a roll, just keep on rolling.
Mhm.
But,
Yeah.
yeah, but
Usually you hit like that 35-40 minute mark in a video and you're just like, all right, from here on out, we're just gonna wing it and
yeah,
let it roll, because probably the people that really like us are gonna stick around and they're gonna put up with this shit. And the rest of them
exactly.
have already stopped watching. So
And that's what I like about these, like, people who listen, like, that long, I'm like, "Wow," like, they're a fan, like, they actually like
Mhm.
what I do. I mean, if they're listening to, like, 2 hours worth of me and someone else talk, I mean, it's very humbling, honestly. I
Yeah.
never thought that was gonna happen. That's why I made, like, 3 to 5 minute videos. I was like, "Who's gonna listen to
Mhm.
my ass for this long?" But it's very humbling, and, it's just really
Mhm.
cool to be honestly, man, the most important thing, let's end off on, like, what we're thankful for. I'm honestly
Yeah.
thankful that
Yeah.
this game is getting legs, man. Like, I don't know about you, in the beginning of making content, I thought the game was amazing, and me personally, I loved it, but I didn't think that it was gonna go this fast. And just seeing like Channel Fireball and like Star City Games, all these, it's just, dude, it's so nice, and it's like, it
Mhm.
not only that, but it's great to be a part of it with everyone. And Legend Story Studios is great. And you know what, man, I it brought me like so much joy to see all the like them give all these things for like December. Like I saw them give you the cold foil heroes, man,
Oh yeah,
and you
yeah,
guys look so fucking happy, and it's just like it was just so nice because they knew exactly what heroes each of you guys played,
yeah.
and they
It was
bought
crazy.
one for each of you, and it's just I don't know, but I'm excited that I'm on this ride, man, and
He's
the
never
game's
far
going good.
away. I keep him right
Nice.
here next to me, dude. The thing that yeah, and I think that that just like goes to show the thought and effort that LSS puts into their game, and like the fact that they know that they want a good, strong content creator base community to be built up because they gave us the heroes that we liked and talked about. Like
Yep.
that someone there at some point watched our videos and was like, all right, Blake loves Dorinthia, Dane loves, Katsu, and I don't even honestly I don't remember who Jason got because he bounced around. Did he get Kano or did he get
I
Bravo?
think he got Kano. Could be wrong.
Oh, okay. All right. But yeah, no, it's just like it's super cool that they put that amount of thought and effort in. So I'm really thankful for being into a game that the company really cares. It's they've made it very clear from day one that they really they really want this game to succeed and they want to be successful, obviously, but they want the community to succeed too. They've made that pretty clear. So I'm thankful for that, and I'm thankful for the content creators that have come out with quality content
Yep.
that they are proud of and willing to put their name on, and the collaboration. Like you made that video a couple weeks ago now, just talking about like content creators collabing, and I think that that's what makes all of us better. Like
I
genuinely from the
totally
bottom of my
agree.
heart, I love when people come on and are like, dude, your background is like a little if like Rob, sole reason that we started streaming and doing like revamping our live streams is because Rob started doing his streaming and we were chatting and
It was
I was
top
picking his
notch,
brain
man.
about how to make it. But yeah, he came in with fire. Like he
I
came and
want
started
more
putting
people
his
to be doing that too. Like, and at the end of the day,
yeah.
all he has to do is click a couple buttons, and
Mhm.
he's on. I mean, it took him hours to make that whole setup, but yeah.
No, not even, dude. Talking to him,
Oh,
like it
really?
was. He told me what he did. I was like, oh really, dude? I thought you were like this, like not to sorry, not to take any wind out of Rob's sails because he does put a ton of effort in. Like if you've
Oh,
ever
for
watched his
sure.
stuff, like dude just grinds. But yeah, it was he's like Streamlabs, and you can just pick like this stuff and that, and like set it up. You got to do like the front end work, but then you just click buttons, and you're live on 3 different platforms. And I was like, oh damn, thank God for you coming in here and like thank God that we reached out and we're chatting and now we're, I'd call us good friends. Just like we're just messaging about like the skirmishes we're gonna be in this weekend and how excited we are to be streaming those. And it's good stuff, man. Like it's
Yeah.
good
And there's
having and
just
like
nice
even you,
people. Like Rob,
dude,
right?
like
He's such a nice
yeah,
guy. He
yeah, yeah.
gives a bunch of cards out for free to a bunch of different people. I don't know
Mhm.
why he does it. Like I'm like, dude, why did you give your spoils of war away? I'm like, why did I don't know.
Dude,
He's
he told
just
me he
such
did
a
that. I
nice
was like,
guy, dude.
yeah,
Top
he's a
notch.
quality dude. But he's in Florida too with you, right? You guys play
Yep.
locally together?
No, we're gonna meet up for the what is it, pre-release weekend. I'm excited about
Oh,
that.
nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
But other than that, I've been like keeping it really safe myself. But yeah, no,
Yeah.
I appreciate I totally agree with you, man. Like the collaboration because it shows that like I'm not in competition with anyone at all. You know, it's like I'm doing
Yeah.
this because I'm passionate about the game. I just want to talk about the game. So it's nice when
Mhm.
people like help each other out and like Jordan from Flesh and Bloods helped me too. Similar thing. Like I was so dunce. I didn't know how to do a thumbnail perfectly. I would have to
Yeah.
like do it in paint and like I would fuck up the edges, but he's like, dude, just do it in PowerPoint and then just do save
Mhm.
as like different. I don't know if you guys do that, but
Mhm.
I do PowerPoint, save as different file format. And it was like, it's so much
Mhm.
easier. Yeah.
Yeah. No, we do, we use Photoshop for ours, and Blake is actually he's the thumbnail guy. He's the one who basically runs with, the different designs and stuff, like all our different streaming, like live stream designs, like our play testing and skirmish and armory and all that's just stuff that he's put together.
Oh, that's
But yeah,
cool.
no, it's I don't remember what I was gonna say.
It's
It's good.
awesome.
It's all good.
Yep.
It's all good across the board. I do love this content creator community so far. I am excited. The next step in my mind is when there's a big
Worlds.
region, not even worlds, when they just do like callings in the US and stuff like that. I would be so disappointed if people weren't on board with like getting together afterwards and doing like an after party hosted by the content creators.
Oh, I
Like
can't wait for that.
that's I know, man. Like that event single-handedly said like that told me with in Star Wars Destiny, that told me like you need to be a part of this world and do this type of thing because everyone was so appreciative. It was so awesome to just hang out and meet like all of these people and like just it really solidifies like I feel like we've built like this scaffolding now with like all the different content creators and like
Yep.
people have been in touch with others, but when you
When
like
we
we've put
meet
all
in
the
person.
we've put that rebar in, right? We're ready to like have a stable foundation. And then once that solidification happens and we all meet up at an event and just host stuff for like the whole community, everyone come out, drinks are on, all the content creators, everyone gets a couple tickets, whatever it is, that's when you pour the concrete.
Yep.
And that's when it becomes an actual foundation. And that's
Yep.
what I'm really excited for.
Oh yeah, that's just gonna be such a great moment, man. I'm sure it's gonna come with everything in the world coming more peaceful.
Mhm.
But yeah, man. Do you want to plug your channel at the end? Honestly, Dane, like, man, early on content creation, you were really nice to me, man, and I really enjoyed your content before I started making content, and all warm hugs and everything. But no, I really appreciate you guys,
Blowing
man.
rainbows up my ass.
No,
Yeah.
you make good shit. I mean, you guys have a really cool friend dynamic. It doesn't feel like you're like, "Hey, Jason, did you hear about the new Monarch thing?" Like, Jason's like, "No, Dan, I didn't." Like, it's not. It's very like raw and just like you're shooting the shit. I love it. But what do you wanna? What's going on with
Well, I feel guilty because I feel like I've been plugging slowly, like,
Dude, do it.
throughout, like,
That's the
talking about
point
our
of this.
podcast
I'm
and
getting the
stuff.
video out of this, so I mean, I want anyone to plug anything.
No, yeah, so if you haven't checked us out, we're Outcast Haven, on YouTube and Twitch and Facebook, just any of those websites /Outcasts Haven, one word, all lowercase. You'll find us there. We do a lot of a meta talk, a lot of freeform discussion just about what's happening sort of in the world of Flesh and Blood. We do also cover some Dragon Ball Super stuff because that's another thing that another aspect of our team sort of plays. Have I'm focused on Fab. Jason's focused on Fab, but Blake will, we'll talk about that game as well. So don't be turned off if you see that content out there. We are primarily a Flesh and Blood channel. We just the Flesh and Blood content is a staple, and that stuff hasn't really changed much.
Oh yeah.
Um, but yeah, like feel free to check us out if you like us. We got a podcast that we put out every Friday morning, and that is on our YouTube as well as basically any podcast site that you can imagine. And then every Tuesday night, join us on either Twitch or YouTube. We are just shooting the shit, playing games, live streaming on TTS. Sometimes we'll do webcam, but with like having guests on and stuff like that, like it's just kind of easier to have TTS up and running so people can jump in and out. But but yeah, no, we love doing it. It's kind of our staple in our own lives too. So it's been a blast, and it's led to meeting people like you, meeting other content creators. It's honestly been a lot more than I ever imagined when we started so far. Like I really thought the
Yeah.
pandemic was gonna hinder it and we are gonna be like making content in a bubble until stuff opened up again and we are gonna be able to meet up and do stuff in person. But it's been super rewarding already. So
Oh yeah.
just
It's
really
been like a
excited for
catalyst to being
it
more out
has
there. Yeah.
for sure. It's
Well,
definitely
thanks
saved
again,
my
Dan.
social life.
I really appreciate you being on here, man, and getting to do this, and look
Yeah,
forward to talking with you in the future, man.
of course. We finally did it. We made it.
Yeah,
I got here. I was on Bronson.
you were on drinking with
Late night with
Bronson.
Bronson.
We drank.
We did. Hey, Bronson, cheers to you, man. Thanks for
Che-
having me on.
Cheers to you too, man.